Hi, my name's Karen. I'm one of the owners of this beautiful bookshop in Byron Bay, the Book Room. And I'd like to share with you some of the books that have meant something to me over the last few years. Some of them are old ones and some of them are new. And these are some that I show to people when they come in and asking for a particular book. So I've got a couple of non-fiction, and one of them is a memoir, one of them is in our social thought section, and then 3 fiction. So The Glass Castle, a memoir written by Jeanette Walls, who's a well-known American journalist. This is her memoir of when she was growing up with a father and mother who had problems with alcohol, also huge problems with reality. So they brought these girls and the brother up to believe that they were going to build a castle made of glass so that they could sleep at night time and look at the stars, which was very important to the father. So the part of the book that is just so compelling is that the love within the family, the absolute unconditional love that the children had for the parents and the parents had for the children, until they got to a certain age where they all realised it was not okay and they had to escape or leave and get educated on their own. But it's a really beautifully written book, and it's, as I said, it's not very new, but it's a very important book to read because it's still relevant today. There's still a lot of children out there that are being raised in quite unusual circumstances. I suppose I've picked all of these books tonight because of the COVID situation, and I'm being quite reflective. So as I walk around the shop, and there's lots of books I could choose, and they just stood out to me. So that's my first memoir. The next one is also non-fiction, and it's in our social thought section because it's a commentary on the American health system. This wonderful writer, Michael Katakis, is a photographer. He's very well travelled, and he finds himself in the terrible situation where his wife is gravely ill and comes up against the American health system, which he finds unbelievably difficult and unsympathetic. So he decides that he wants to leave his beloved country and go somewhere where there's a bit more humanity. So they end up leaving and going to Italy, where he finds community, he finds people that are real. He doesn't have to deal with bureaucracy, and he helps his wife through a very terrible time. But this one just made me weep. It's just so beautiful, and it's called 1,000 Shards of Glass because of, I was actually going to read the back of it. There is another America, and it lies just beneath the surface of myth, adrift on a sea of illusions, and imprisoned by implacable ideologies that strangle reason and compassion. We are not in this together, which I find is quite relevant today. So highly recommend this book. It's 2014, I think, but it's still such a beautiful read and with some depth of food for thought there. Okay, on to fiction. Look, I've got one old one and 2 sort of new ones. So I picked this one up. We had an advance copy of, she's a very fine writer, and I had, funnily enough, I just read a pretty crummy book and I was losing heart in what was good writing, and so John said, just have a go at this one, and I just got into it straight away. I just absolutely love it. She is an exceptional writer. And I didn't sort of realise until the end that it's about revenge. So the first part is him, the second part is her. It's a total love story, but it's got a little bit of sort of crime in it, or maybe vitriol, but it's so beautifully written. I tend to pick books that have got something to do with relationships. There's a story there, yes, but I guess you think that everyone has a story anyway. So the way that Lauren Groff can tell you a story about these people is exceptional. She's American, and it's very American story with an immigrant sort of background, but it's a really fine read. And one of our army of readers who comes in and has also read it for us has read this twice because she loved it so much. So I really recommend that for an in-depth, highly beautifully written book with substantial characters. Brilliant. So the next one is a fairly new one, and now I wasn't going to pick this one because I didn't sort of get the cover, but then when you read into it, I remember when I got to the part talking about the cover that I just started crying. I cry a lot in books. Well, yes. So this is about a brother and sister, and it's about 60 years or 50 years, and it's about them and what happened to them. And it's really funny in parts because they've developed their own sort of language. They're really, really close. I don't have a brother. I have a sister that I'm really close to, but my children, my daughter has brothers. However, I thought it actually isn't even about brothers and sisters. It's about these two children, the siblings who just know each other so well, and what happens to them as they go through their life. And Anne Patchett can just put you right in the situation where they are meant to be, and with humour as well. So some of it it'll make you laugh out loud, and other parts will make you very, very sad. But highly recommend this, and it's something significant about the cover too.